Der Spiegel is a German weekly news magazine published in Hamburg, with a weekly circulation of 840,000 copies. It is the largest such publication in Europe. It was founded in 1947 by John Seymour Challoner, a British Army officer, and Rudolf Augstein, a former Wehrmacht radio operator who was recognized in 2000 by the International Press Institute as one of the 50 World Press Freedom Heroes. Typically, the magazine has a content-to-advertising ratio of 2:1. Der Spiegel is known in German-speaking countries mostly for its investigative journalism. It has played a key role in uncovering many political scandals such as the Spiegel scandal in 1962 and the Flick affair in the 1980s. According to The Economist, Der Spiegel is one of continental Europe's most influential magazines. The news website by the same name was launched in 1994 under the name Spiegel Online with an independent editorial staff. Today, the content is created by a shared editorial team and the website uses the same media brand as the printed magazine. The first edition of Der Spiegel was published in Hanover on Saturday, the 4th of January 1947. Its release was initiated and sponsored by the British Occupational Administration and preceded by a magazine titled Diese Woche, which had first been published in November 1946. After disagreements with the British, the magazine was handed over to Rudolf Augstein as chief editor, and was renamed Der Spiegel. From the first edition in January 1947, Augstein held the position of editor-in-chief, which he retained until his death on 7 November 2002. After 1950, the magazine was owned by Rudolf Augstein and John Jahr. Jahr's share merged with Richard Gruner in 1965 to form the publishing company Gruner plus Jahr. In 1969, Augstein bought out Gruner plus Jahr for 42 million German marks and became the sole owner of Der Spiegel. In 1971, Gruner plus Jahr bought back a 25% share in the magazine. In 1974, Augstein restructured the company to make the employees shareholders. All employees with more than 3 years seniority were offered the opportunity to become an associate and participate in the management of the company, as well as in the profits. Since 1952, Der Spiegel has been headquartered in its own building in the Old Town part of Hamburg. Der Spiegel's circulation rose quickly. From 15,000 copies in 1947, it grew to 65,000 in 1948 and 437,000 in 1961. It was nearly 500,000 copies in 1962. By the 1970s, it had reached a plateau at about 900,000 copies. When the German reunification in 1990 made it available to a new readership in former East Germany, the circulation exceeded 1 million. The magazine's influence is based on two pillars. Firstly, the moral authority established by investigative journalism since the early years and proven alive by several impressive scoops during the 1980s. Secondly, the economic power of the prolific Spiegel publishing house. Since 1988, it has produced the TV program Spiegel TV, and further diversified during the 1990s. During the second quarter of 1992, the circulation of Der Spiegel was 1.1 million copies. In 1994, Spiegel Online was launched. It had separate and independent editorial staff from Der Spiegel. In 1999, the circulation of Der Spiegel was 1,061,000 copies. Der Spiegel had an average circulation of 1,076,000 copies in 2003. In 2007, the magazine started a new regional supplement in Switzerland. It was the first regional supplement of the magazine which covers 50-page review of Switzerland. In 2010, Der Spiegel was employing the equivalent of 80 full-time fact-checkers, which the Columbia Journalism Review called, most likely the world's largest fact-checking operation. The same year it was the third best-selling general interest magazine in Europe with a circulation of 1,016,373 copies. In 2018, Der Spiegel became involved in a journalistic scandal after it discovered and made public that one of its leading reporters, Klaas Relotius, had falsified his articles on a grand scale. When Stephen Ost took over in 1994, the magazine's readers realized that his personality was different from his predecessor. In 2005, a documentary by Stephen Lamy quoted him as follows: "We stand at a very big canon." Politicians of all stripes who had to deal with the magazine's attention often voiced their disaffection for it. The outspoken conservative Franz Josef Strauss contended that Der Spiegel was the Gestapo of our time. He referred to journalists in general as rats. The Social Democrat Willy Brandt called it Scheissblatt during his term in office as Chancellor. Der Spiegel often produces feature-length articles on problems affecting Germany and describes optional strategies and their risks in depth. The magazine plays the role of opinion leader in the German press. Der Spiegel has a distinctive reputation for revealing political misconduct and scandals. Online Encyclopedia Britannica emphasizes this quality of the magazine as follows: "The magazine is renowned for its aggressive vigor,